listening to the Video Game and Nerd Trivia Podcast with Tony D. Video Game and Nerd Trivia Podcast, your episodic dose of trivia covering all things video games and nerdy. Now, here's your host, Tony D.
All right, we are back with another episode of the VGNT Podcast, Video Game Nerd Trivia Podcast. And I am going to have a full episode today, and the questions are going to be based on, not really questions, but I'm going to be giving you a quote of a movie, and then you tell me what the movie is. So how it works is I'll say the quote, give you 5 seconds of silence, and then I'll tell you the answer. There will be 3 rounds of 10 questions each. All right, let's play. Round 1. Question 1. The quote is, I see dead people. Of course, that is from The Sixth Sense. Question 2. I'll be back. Of course, that's The Terminator. Question 3. Toto, I've got a feeling we're not in Kansas anymore. That is, of course, The Wizard of Oz. Question 4. Soylent Green is people. Don't think too hard. It's Soylent Green. Question 5. You're gonna need a bigger boat. That's from Jaws. Question 6. You can't handle the truth. That is from A Few Good Men. Question 7. I'll have what she's having. That's from When Harry Met Sally. Question 8. Mama always said life was like a box of chocolates. You never know what you're gonna get. That is from Forrest Gump. Question 9. Yo, Adrian. That's from, you can name any of the Rocky movies. And question 10. Say hello to my little friend. That is Scarface. Alright, let's head into round 2. I realize I've been saying question. These are not questions, I'm just telling you quotes, so I'm going to say quote now. Okay, quote 1. I'm king of the world. That is Titanic. Quote 2. You talking to me? That is Taxi Driver. Question 3. I feel the need for speed. That is Top Gun. Question 4. Keep your friends close, but your enemies closer. That is The Godfather Part 2. I always thought it was interesting they called it Part 2 instead of just 2. But anyway. Question 5. If you build it, he will come. That would be Field of Dreams. And fun fact about that, everyone keeps thinking if you build it, they will come. But the quote is, if you build it, he will come. Quote 6. Take your stinking paws off me, you damn dirty ape. That was Planet of the Apes. Quote 7. Here's looking at you, kid. That is Casablanca. Quote 8. Nobody puts baby in the corner. That's of course Dirty Dancing. Quote 9. A martini, shaken, not stirred. Of course, this is a James Bond movie, but specifically it was in Goldfinger. And quote 10. Frankly, my dear, I don't give a damn. That is Gone with the Wind. Alright, let's head into the final round, round 3. Quote 1. I'm going to make him an offer he can't refuse. That is The Godfather. Quote 2. Oh no, it wasn't the airplanes, it was Beauty that killed the beast. That is King Kong. Quote 3. Go ahead, make my day. That is Sudden Impact. Quote 4. Show me the money. That is Jerry Maguire. Quote 5. You've got to ask yourself one question. Do I feel lucky? That is Dirty Harry. Quote 6. I love the smell of napalm in the morning. That is Apocalypse Now. Quote 7. Open the pod bay doors, Hal. That would be 2001 A Space Odyssey. Quote 8. Mother of Mercy, is this the end of Rico? That would be Little Caesar. Quote 9. We rob banks. That is Bonnie and Clyde. And the final quote. A boy's best friend is his mother. That is from Psycho. Alright, hopefully you enjoyed this episode of 3 rounds of movie quotes from iconic movies. If you like this episode, feel free to subscribe and rate us on Apple Podcasts or anywhere you're listening to this podcast. Again, you could always submit suggestions to VGNT Podcast 1 on Instagram or by Twitter or X at VGNT Podcast. But until next time, trivia on.